Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 13 of the Replace Your Dollar Cash Cast. I am your host, Jeremy Ritz. Very excited today. We have our first guest on, and you can see that we actually have a video of the podcast today. This is the first, episode 13. A lot of people say unlucky 13, but I'm calling this lucky number 13 episode, and we are welcoming phenomenal trader, Replace Your Dollar coach, Jake Moore, to the show. Jake, how are you doing today, sir?
Jeremy, I'm doing awesome. I appreciate it. A great intro, and what an honor to be part of Lucky 13. But luck it's good Lucky 13, not bad Lucky 13. So no, I appreciate that. What an honor, Jeremy.
Awesome. Well, Jake, we're excited to have you on here. And everybody out there in RYD land, you might be wondering, well, why is Jake on here? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly why Jake is on here. First of all, he is a Replace Your Dollar coach. He's a profitable trader. And it wasn't that long ago that he went through the Replace Your Dollar program. And just a few short months ago, Jake left behind his W-2 job and is now a full-time, like I said, profitable trader. And his life has been transformed forever. And it's important for all of you to hear stories from people like Jake, who are living the world of trading, who are excelling and succeeding in that terrain. And so that's why Jake is here with us today. And Jake, let's go ahead and jump in and get started. Talk to us about how you got here to this point, and became a profitable trader after leaving behind your W-2 job.
Well, I tell you what, it's a lot of mindset, relentless pursuit to go after the things that I love. I kind of born and raised on a farm in southern Idaho, but did join the military at 28 years old, and at 20 years retired. And then I transitioned to Boeing, a great company to work for, in kind of senior leadership roles in both the military and with Boeing. But my heart's desire, Jeremy, and everybody listening, is some time freedom. I've got books I want to read. I want to continue to develop my soul, my mind, to pour into others. And it really became a conflict to just grind and really excel, in the military and in a W-2 job. But it was to a point where I didn't want to look in the mirror as an old man and regret not really following my heart and just believing in something bigger. So introduction to RYU, kind of jump forward a little bit, fall of 2022, did the Replace Your Mortgage, did the HELOC. But for the first time in my adult life, Jeremy, experiencing the power of mentors, coaching, and so many different opportunities that were presented. In other words, we really don't know what we don't know. Mm-hmm. But when you can join a tribe or kind of get yoked with like-minded entrepreneurs, folks that really are relentlessly pursuing how to better their families, their personal life, and how they can pour into others, I'll never be the same. So from the Replace Your Mortgage, changing my cash flow strategy, for the long term. And then it was in January. I'm on vacation with the family. We're in Fort Lauderdale. We're staying right on the beach, and that's where kind of create your own economy presented itself to me. So became a VIP, again, to grow and develop with that Replace Your University, that parallel economy, the mindset, and I was very much interested in replacing your employer, replace your banker. Wasn't interested in really Replace Your Dollar at the time, because Epic fell, 3 different times of trading, in my past, back in 06, 07, and then again as recent as 2017. But when I did click on some of the free trading, Replace Your Dollar on the Replace Your University website, I couldn't sleep after that. I mean, mouth just dropped when it come to the structure, plan, discipline, how you can mitigate your risk, on every trade and stay in at the long haul. I'm like 20 years of military and a senior leader in a corporation. Is like I've learned how to say yes sir, yes ma'am, no sir, no ma'am. I can follow rules. So a whole different way of looking at how to structure a new business, to generate some cash flow, and that is through just a couple strategies that we really focus on in Replace Your Dollar, and being consistent with that. And Jeremy, it was just a month and a half when we started seeing consistent gains, and did have a lot of early R's, I think up 20 R's, very small R when we started out, and then things kind of flatlined a little bit. But through back trading practice, quiet time in the mornings, am I focusing on who I am as a father, a husband, and a man, and bringing that whole package to the table every morning? What's the plan? What are my rules? Are the conditions met? And that's all it is, Jeremy. Mm-hmm. And then to be able to enforce that behavior, teach it, model it, and make it contagious to others, I'm still, almost put a tear in my eye. I just grateful for what kind of what you're an ambassador. You've been really excellent role model, for not just myself, but many others, and let alone the real life trading like Jeremy Newsome and that entire crew and Replace Your Mortgage. There is such strength, and confidence really by being part of these groups that my life will never be the same. I do not look at the same man in the mirror. My time with my wife and my daughter is so much, it's different because of the peace that comes with a solid plan, a roadmap, and the support structure in place. My own mentors and coaches are always just a phone call away, an email away. And again, I've got the plan that is my safety net. So again, just a lot of humble gratitude. And I hope that does help some others. But again, it's following the plan and following your heart first, and then the plan. Yeah. How to meet those objectives in your heart. It's incredible.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Jake. And listeners, it's great to hear somebody who has gone through this process and who has done it, who's become a profitable trader. And talking about profits, Jake, at what moment did you have the realization that, wow, I can do this? Was it a specific trade? And then talk to us about your first month of profitability and what clicked and how that happened. I think that would be valuable for the listeners, for the people out there working towards becoming profitable.
It really wasn't any specific trade. And I just say that because I was just really, I don't want to say legalistic, but not only was my risk mitigated with a stop loss on every trade, and it still is, but my profit, I want to say, is limited, on the majority of the trades when I first started. Again, I'm like, I'm following the rules. And if I win more over time, and when I win more, the dollar value or that risk of risk to reward. Mm-hmm. So if I was continually targeting that 1.2 reward, and able to mitigate that risk to like a 0.7, and just seeing those consistent wins. And that's what did it for me, Jeremy. Bigger wins actually came later, but so did the bigger losses. Mm-hmm. As we kind of change the R, but it doesn't change anything from a kind of a confidence or perspective. In other words, the R increases over time, but it doesn't change any rules. And that's what's been a joy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just kind of following the plan, and the first half of each month, very, very structured and a lot of consistent wins. And then if I'm profitable and I've paid the bills middle of the month in the second half, now I'm developing other areas that I want to grow in, and
Mhm.
that are some larger wins
Yeah.
that are coming. And so kind of working through that right there.
Yeah. Fantastic. So the winning, obviously one of the most fun components of trading, but there's always the losses. And the one thing that we often talk about and share with students in RYD is that you have to become a good loser. And that doesn't have the connotation that you're a lose, you're
Yeah.
really a loser, but meaning you have to be willing to accept the loss in a trade. Jake, talk us through how you process a loss, and do you have a loss in memory on a trade where you really got down on yourself, beat yourself up, and how did you overcome that?
Well, I had a trade as early as or recent as Friday, and some people might not get this, but I was a great shadow boxer. When I it turned on me so fast, and when I say shadow boxing, I was like, there was frustration that entered me. But again, I was thankful for that um, or the stop loss that was in there, and then I turn around thinking I've got direction and momentum, and I lost another one, you know. Um, but so what? Because
Hmm?
still for the month, bills are paid. It was time to walk away, and all I've done is I've probably back traded probably 6 to 7 hours, since Friday. I'm like,
Mhm.
where, how can I prevent that going forward?
Yeah.
Because I followed the rules, the conditions were met. But again, what kind of news are out there? There are some nuances. The more seasoned new traders become, that hey, listen to your groups, listen to
Mhm.
some of the wisdom that comes from be cautious when the government's going to be speaking about economy, and there's just so much wisdom in being able to dial into your different groups, understand what your peer group's doing, your mentors and coaches are talking about, and then put in those, maybe not even trade that time, but
Mhm.
definitely make decisions considering all that. So the power in the tools that we have today, Jeremy, and I'm specifically referring to like TradingView, to be able to go in and back trade and relive everything that you went through, if it was a successful trade or not a successful trade, and look at 3 and 4 different ways, within the framework of rules that could have made that profitable, or what it was that said, hey, maybe you don't want to enter that trade because of this. So back trading is number one thing I'm going to go to figure out why it was successful and why it was not successful.
Mhm.
And if I have a bad day, I lose a couple of R's, I'm pushing away, and I'm just going to go be grateful for something, because
Yeah.
the market's going to be open the next day. And the structure that we
True.
teach, in our own walk, is we're in it for the long haul. One day is never going to be the end of a disciplined trader, someone who has the discipline to follow their plan. One day, 1 week, even 1 month is not going to ruin anybody's dream.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. I got just a couple more questions here and then we're going to wrap it up. But Jake, again, appreciate you being in here on the show. Again, just, we have a audience of traders, maybe people who are thinking about becoming a trader, pursuing this. What would you say is the characteristic that you must have in order to be successful in this arena of trading and investing?
Patience and discipline, without question. You've got to have the discipline to um, define your plan. You've got to have the discipline to trust the plan, and you got to have the discipline to follow the plan.
Mhm.
So define it, trust it, and follow it. And then I say patience, because that's probably um, greatest opportunity over this next quarter, personal goal, professional goal, is as I'm increasing my R, inherent in that is I trade less, and the patience of not getting pulled into a trade or a trapping wick, and a lot of our clients do know exactly what a trapping wick is, and there's things you got to watch for, but patience for the trade to set up and wait for all the conditions to mature before actually pushing the button.
Yeah.
So discipline and patience, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Without hesitation would be my two things.
Fantastic. And you talk about patience too. You know, it's not about hitting home runs all the time, right? It's not about, winning the world championship with every trade. And, it's something that I've had to learn a little bit, and recently had to remind myself that. But something that you mentioned too, a lot of newer traders, when they're starting out, I want to have a bigger R, I want to have that larger R, but it's important to start smaller, right? Because you are going to get to the point, like you said, when your R increases, and let's say that it's $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, you absolutely don't have to trade that much. One trade could be your month. So that patience, waiting for that absolutely perfect setup, which may or may not work out, but you're absolutely right. I think that patience, that discipline piece is absolutely critical. And then two more questions. The last one's going to be a little bit fun, but this one, what would you say to the person who's on the fence right now? Part of them feels like, man, I really want to try this, but there's something holding them back. There's some fear. There's whatever. They're afraid of the judgment, because you and I have both experienced, when you talk to somebody and you say, hey, they ask you what you do, like, yeah, I'm a day trader. They kind of look at you like you have four heads, not three. But what would you say to that person who's thinking about taking the leap and learning how to trade? What would your advice be to them?
Oh, that's a deep question, because there is a lot of psychology behind that. And what I mean by that is I would say go for it. But here's the conditions that I'm looking for is, and again, it's my own journey. What have I learned at this? I'm over 50, Jeremy, and I wish I would have understood the power of mentorship, coaching, and tribe. I'll never go pursue life-changing goals without being connected. To try to figure out this thing called life on our own, very expensive, and it takes a lot of time. So with the right coaching, mentoring, getting in a group, there's a support structure. So I wouldn't do it on your own. I would not recommend anybody to go out there and do it on their own. I failed 3 times trying to do it on my own. So, but when you look at the cost in investing in a mentor or a group, it's pennies relative to going and pursuing, a master's degree or PhD so you can get more money, in your W-2 job. It's far less expensive to invest in the passion that you have within a tribe group coaching, and so that you're not going to go out on it alone. So that would be the first and foremost. I would save some money, put some money aside to invest in the support structure, which is going to nearly make failure the exception to the rule. Just increased your probability of being extremely successful when you invest in the tribe, in the coaching, in the group. And it's got to be a group that you resonate with, that brings your best out. You give them permission to speak into your life. So with that condition being met, Jeremy, I would say if you've got any desire you've got to enjoy the trade. For one, you've got to be wired that way, because again, you talked about it earlier. We're great losers, but that is just an expense in our business. It's not that we lost. Or made mistakes if we followed the plan. It's a business expense.
Tuition.
So
it's tuition.
It's tuition. So So I completely endorse, when you've got the support structure in place, you're not alone in it. And it's the idea that you can paper trade, you can simulate, you can start with a small R. To go back to that, what you alluded to earlier, is if you're going to fund your own account, which I did when I started, and I paper traded a much larger R than was even realistically possible. That messed me up. Train as you're going to execute real money and make it such a battle rhythm, such a process driven routine that, and then you slowly increase that R over time without any other dynamics changing.
Yeah.
So when you start out with one R at 3 or 4 months and it just goes up every month, you're profitable, you reward yourself with an increased R. Next thing you know, you've replaced your regular income with a consistent positive cash flow.
And Jake, if you don't mind me asking, just to give the listeners an idea of what that looks like, where did your R start and where's your R now, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, my R started at $300, Jeremy. And my goal was January, February, March of 2023. And then April was going to go to 400, May to 500, June to 600. I actually increased to 1,000 a little bit earlier.
Good for you.
In July, and then halfway through August, I actually did increase up to 1,500.
Nice.
So again, it's a lot of the there is some math involved. There is some psychology because that is a larger jump. But again, understanding the pivot points and the high frequency probability of winning even less than a full R. But within the trade itself, it really was still a 1.2 price target based on a smaller R and smaller volume. So I've kind of been able to train my mind and the emotions, with a larger R. And I'm like, I don't change anything, and the consistency has been a fun journey. I'd say this past couple. Do I miss out on some trends that take off? Yes, Jeremy. But when it starts chopping and going sideways up and down, I'm so protected and I'm profitable at the end of the day. And I don't care if it's sideways or not. So that has been a joy. And then I'll work on that holding muscle, for those larger wins, in the second half of the month, which we alluded to earlier. And that's what's got me to where I am today.
Awesome, Jake. Great stuff. And we're going to wrap it up with a little bit of a fun exercise here. I'm going to give you five statements, and I want you just to say the first thing that comes to your head. And they'll be semi-trading related. And we'll start with the man on my shirt here. Got a little Elon. Tesla.
Faith. I got Starlink, and this last week I got on my roof, put it on, went from 15 megabyte interior Alaska plan to 199. So Elon Musk, Starlink.
Nice.
And Tesla, of course.
Bull or bear?
Bull.
Okay.
Yeah.
All-time highs by December or new lows that go beyond the lows from last October?
In the middle. I hate to say it. And again, just as we go into an election year, I said bull. But I don't believe we're going to see some all-time highs by the end of 2023. Very possible in 2024. So a little more bearish, probably 2023, but long-term bull. Absolutely, Jeremy.
Fun, unique fact about yourself that would be surprising to most people.
I'm a twin. There's another me out there. She's pretty.
Good stuff. And then the last one, replace your dollar.
Replace your dollar. Life changing, it's possible, look in the mirror. Are you doing what you want to do? Are you able to impart into others at the capacity that you want to? So replace your dollar. I do look at that as it's what I'm looking for. It's connected with RYU. It's connected with real life trading. It's family. that there's trust, when I look at Replace Your Dollar. It's a community. It's not just a logo, but it's a community. Probably the best way.
Wonderful. Well, great stuff, Jake. Thank you so much for joining us here for episode lucky number 13 of the Replace Your Dollar Cash Cast. Give us a like, subscribe to our Replace Your Dollar YouTube channel, leave a comment, leave some positive feedback for Jake for sharing as much value as he did today. And if you want to learn more about Replace Your Dollar, the link is in the show notes here. Click on that, set up a discovery call. If you like to work with Jake and myself, we can help you learn the markets, how to become a profitable trader. So again, click that discovery call link. We could set that up here today. And have a wonderful week, everyone out there. And we will see you back here for episode number 14 of the Replace Your Dollar Cash Cast. Jake, thanks so much.
Thanks, Jeremy.